This is a review of Gucci's Spring 2023 show. Before I begin the review, I want to give a little background on Gucci. Gucci was founded in 1921 by Guccio Gucci. It has been in the Gucci family until I think 1993 when the family had been ousted from the brand. Since then, they have other creative directors that have gone into ready wear for Gucci. Currently, the creative director is Alexandre McHale. He was named the creative director in January of 2015. So with that said, let's begin the review. Gucci Twinsbury, first look. Okay. Interesting. I think those are chaps. I do like that jacket, the sleeve, it's not cut to where it usually ends here on blazers, but the blazer is cut to here, so you don't have to cuff it, and you can show the sleeve of the shirt. So that's an interesting design detail, proportions. So far what I'm seeing the looks, I think that the looks itself, the cuts like this jacket, you can kind of see that the jackets are, I think, very classic cuts. This is a crop. Again, sequins, I think it's a big thing for spring of 2023 because I don't know how many collections I've seen with sequins for spring. This might be the 4th or 5th collection that I've seen the sequins in. Interesting print pairing. I think the color has an analogous color scheme behind it. A long trench. Kind of reminds me of I think about 10 years ago when they had the pajama set, fringe and sequins. So if you look at the styles itself, I think that, a lot of the cuts, it's very classic cuts. I think what's making it interesting to Gucci, especially under this creative director, is the prints. It's just another thing that I see for spring is the metallics. This is an interesting print for Gucci, the wrench. This is something that a lot of people talked about, is the low rise with the thong. I think it's like a look from the early 2000s, so I think like that's a regurgitation of that. Somehow this print is also very reminiscent of Gucci. So I'm not going to comment on the accessories because it is styling. I don't really know if Gucci sells that. I'm not like a buyer of Gucci. It's not my style aesthetic, but it's interesting to see the styling. That's a very interesting ruffle skirt. The other day, it's again that style with the denim shorts. It's again, if you break down the pieces by itself, elements of it, you can kind of see what you can take away from the looks and kind of get the look for spring. You don't have to go out and necessarily buy from the brand. No, I don't know about that print, but it's overalls at the end of the day. This is another thing I saw for spring. This kind of graphic animal print, paisley. Another sequence. Like you can see, I could call out, you know, what the looks are gonna be for spring and what, you know, if you want to call it trends. But what I want to say when I say trends is looks that you can break apart and take in and kind of go shop your closet to see if you have it to incorporate into your wardrobe. So I don't know. I feel like it's a regurgitation. I don't know if it's really worthwhile. I don't know if that's catered to the Asian market because, again, Gucci is a big luxury brand out of Asia. So I could see some of that targeted to an Asian audience because right now, designer fashion is really geared towards like the first market is out of Asia. That's some sort of Paris skirt with the print. Again, it's interesting how they're doing the prints. I feel like this is a new way of styling to get like a very mismatched print to change it up, you know, kind of making the unconventional the new fashion. That's what I feel like when designers are doing in styling like this. See, we see a little bit of the Gucci logo and the whole outfit of logo. Again, I feel like that print, it is like a very Asian inspired print. Because if you see a lot of the Asian fashion, like the Johnson and stuff like that, it is in those kind of prints, embroidery. There's a lot of metallics. Again, I don't know how wearable that pair of pants is for anyone's personal style, but more power to you if you could incorporate it into your style aesthetic. Again, the pussy bow blouse. I see a lot of it, the bows. You can see like a lot of fashion brands doing this is they are making the styles unisex, catering to more of how the Asian market is styling their fashion. It's a lot more gender neutral. I think I have a video I talked about that. I have a 3-part series about gender neutral fashion. You can go check it out. Again, metallics. Jersey dresses, again with the chaps. I like the fact that they're styling the chaps on the men and not so much in the women. Again, going back to making it genderless fashion, which is where fashion wants to move to, it seems like. Okay, here's the twin aspect of the show. I can see some of the looks very reminiscent of the time that Tom Ford was there, and I think that the other creative director, I think is, I don't know, remember the name of the woman creative director. Elma Gianni, something like that. Sorry, I'm just not getting her name in the tip of my tongue right now. But again, it's interesting that they have the choker. Um, it's interesting how you can see the choker is cut. One is almost at the center, and the other one, I feel like that's a pattern thing. It's a biker jacket. I see, like, if I break down the looks in itself, it's nothing major per se, but I think that the fact that they're putting like the twin elements into the show, um, I don't know. To me, I feel like it's a little gimmicky, but I understand that there's a different messaging behind why they're doing this. But usually, like, I just like to just focus on the fashion and stuff like that. This look isn't. I feel like you get these looks, you know. I think that some of the prints might be unique to Gucci, but I think the cuts aren't, you know. Again, I see a lot of Asian inspired silhouettes in this collection. And I see like a lot of styles where I can see, you know, it's very specific target to an Asian audience, which is very interesting because for the most part, I think in the last decade, I think so maybe like the 2000s, it's a very Eurocentric, you know, target audience, and it's very interesting now that because Asia is the biggest luxury market right now, that brands are really targeting their designs and aesthetic to an Asian customer. See more animal prints. Definitely like this zebra print. It's not just to this Gucci collection. There's multiple brands I've seen that has this zebra print as the animal print. So that's one of the animal print, and the other one is the python. I've seen like a couple of shows that have the python already. And florals, metallics. And another thing that I see is a lot of these high-end designer brands are using actual leather, and they're not using pleather per se, plastic. See, more of these zebra prints. Paisley. See, the sequins. I think that definitely they have done casting with the models, you know, to fit the proportions, because I see the fit of the clothes and how it's represented on the model, even if the twins. That's another thing. The fringe. It's interesting, like how many. I think it's coming from the fashion forecasting for brands of this tier. You know, that they are using kind of the same design elements like the fringe, the sequins, the metallics. Shorts. Again, more metallics. The paillettes. There's a lot of shine that I've seen in the collections. I don't know. I wish I was a little more interested in the show, but I feel like there's nothing really spectacular about the show. I feel like the silhouettes of styling, if I break it down, there's nothing major, and I think that it's very, some of the looks that I'm seeing, I don't know how in the whole scheme of like the looks, it's how wearable it is, you know, in a year's time, 2 years time, because a lot is very specific to this collection or this time. So I would be very interested to see, especially something like this, with the graphics, with the lettering. I feel it's gonna be very dated to this show. Like there's definitely looks and elements, you know, like from here with the pleats, you know, with the mini pleats, you know, the Fatuni pleats. I feel like that's something that you could find, you know, it's something like the chaps. I don't know how wearable it is, you know, in a year's time, 2 years time, but I definitely know that if you can incorporate to your personal style, you could do it, then more power to you. But again, I always just see like how wearable it is in the long run if you're gonna spend that kind of money on the fashion, and it's not just gonna look dated to 2023. If you want to see an in-depth review of the looks and how to style it, please join my Patreon for the full fashion review of this show and many more from the Spring 2023 runways. All in all, I'm not sure if I particularly like this show. I definitely know that there are styles that are definitely wearable you could incorporate into your personal style. But I think the silhouette and cuts and some of the way it's styled, like, I don't know how wearable it is past this season. That's my only concern. Like, the Cheongsam, like, you know, I feel like it is targeted to this, but how wearable it is, you know, in 2025, 2026, something like that, right? And then I think some of the prints, like, it's, if you buy and you invest in, you know, like a paisley, you know, like I feel like a paisley print is very time dated, you know, because if you go and look at who's doing paisley, and like annual prints, I think that there's a way of incorporating like the zebra print. I don't think, you know, a zebra print will ever go out of style, but it's a matter of how to incorporate it, right? So you can make it into an accent into your personal style, or you can make it into a secondary where your personal style might be a little more neutral, you know, where you like to wear something that's a solid color and you could add in a pop of print. I think that's a way to incorporate some of these prints. What's interesting is to see that there are like a lot of elements of what other brands are doing, in terms of the fringe, in terms of the shiny, in terms of like the floral. But there are, so Alexandra Mikhail is doing it into what he thinks Gucci stands for under his lead tutelage. So I am very curious to see how stylists are gonna use these looks, on the red carpet, and how they're gonna style their clients. And I also want to see, how editorials are gonna use it, and how are people gonna really buy it and incorporate it into the personal style. So yeah, I do kind of want to check it out when it hits the store. So yeah, we'll see then. I hope you liked this video. Give a thumbs up if you did. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions. And please subscribe and help me grow this channel. Thank you. Bye.